Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 83rd episode of the Game Pack Podcast. My name is Phil, and joining me today, as always, are Camilo.
Hello.
And John.
What's up? How you doing?
We are going to be talking about a few things today. We're going to be talking about the Super Mario 64 game that sold for $1.56 million at auction. We're going to be talking about Cyberpunk 2077 going back onto the PSN and what that means. And we're also going to be talking about next-gen upgrades that are making the news and how we personally feel about that. First of all, though, we're going to jump right into our first story, which is the graded games that are being sold at astronomical amounts of money. The one I mentioned at the top of the show is the WATA graded Super Mario 64 sealed complete in box that sold for $1.56 million. It's graded at a 9.8, which is an A++ on their scale, which I guess just means that it's almost perfect.
A 10's probably perfect, right? 10's usually the...
I threw in the word almost to hedge my bets.
Well, it's not perfect. If it's 9.8, it's not perfect, right?
Yeah, just almost. Just hedging my bets.
I'm assuming it's the only 9.8 in circulation, or that was graded.
Right.
And that, unless there's a 10 out there or something.
I mean, if there was a 10, that would have made the news if anyone was selling it, but maybe they're just keeping it. Maybe it does exist. Maybe Shigeru Miyamoto has it somewhere in his vault. But overall, in its lifetime, 11.9 million copies of the N64 game were sold, which is interesting because that seems like there's a lot of games in circulation for something to be worth 1.56 million. But I'm beyond positive that not even a small percentage of those games are in the condition that the one just sold as.
Or even have their original boxes anymore.
The boxes are in a landfill somewhere.
So I wonder if, I don't know if we know when this got graded, but I'm assuming whoever got it graded was immediate. They just bought the game and sent it to WATA to get graded.
Possibly. Or they had it. What were you saying earlier? Was that the Mario Bros. One you're talking about? The Christmas present one?
The NES Mario Bros.
So we have a couple more listed real quick. So The Legend of Zelda, this one also sold this July. The original Legend of Zelda was a WATA graded at a 9.6 A+, also sealed. 9.0 A sealed, and that sold for $870,000. And then the Super Mario Bros. WATA was graded at a 9.6 A+, also sealed, obviously, and that sold for $660,000. And then you were saying that was they found it as a present, and they found it in a drawer or something?
Yeah, someone bought it as a Christmas present, I guess, and it was just never open, and it was just sitting in someone's drawer for all these years.
Oh, wow. Now it's worth $860,000, or no, that was
600.
600, still $600,000.
Chump change. So yeah, I guess the one thing I really wanted to talk about was, how do you guys feel about the WATA games grading system, or grading video games in general? Is it just as viable as grading a collectible card or a comic book? Do you think it's something that people want to have graded and collect and appreciate value by being sealed and graded?
Well, we've seen an uptick of sales of these classic games, right? The national the World Championship cart, that was selling recently. It wasn't graded, but it was selling recently, on eBay. So I think people are probably starting to think, oh, these might be worth something one day.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well get them sealed and graded. I was in, I've been collecting Pokemon cards recently, and a lot of people grade those cards.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the value works is it's all dependent on the population. So like, take for example the first edition Charizard that sold for, or that's worth like $300,000 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's because there's only, I don't know, 6 grade 10 Charizard cards first edition base set that are in circulation. I wonder if people are sending like games like Mario 3D All Stars to get graded. Like if they're sending these modern games.
Yeah, what? You can literally still buy that in the store.
Yeah, but they're not great. They're not graded though.
Should I grade this one that I just found on my floor?
Yeah, exactly. Like people are sending modern cards, modern Pokemon, modern baseball cards, just in the hopes that they're going to be worth something 20 years from now.
Maybe. I mean, the one thing I have to say about grading video games is that like it kind of defeats the purpose. Like you can grade a baseball card and you can still like look at it and enjoy it, and you could trade it, and like that's kind of like what that was all about, was like collecting and trading. But when it comes to like a video game, like if I vacuum seal a copy of Super Mario 64, like it defeats the purpose of the game because I can't play it. Like, so it's like, what is the point of having this thing if I can't play it?
Good.
I'm just gonna say it reminds me of like in Toy Story 2, and they're like toys are meant to be played with, not on a shelf as a collectible.
This is my current argument. Is the Toy Story 2 argument?
But I mean, there's collectors of everything, right? You have a lot of people collect Star Wars toys that they don't unbox. You know, I mean, I don't. It might be like if you're not a collector, like if you're not in that space, it seems weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, can you imagine just owning something in your collection that is worth $1.5 million? Like people that have that, they probably have they probably have 2 copies of this game, and they play the one and have the other one sealed.
That's true. They bought the other one that costs like $20, like loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if you're spending $1.5 million on something, you can probably afford to like buy the Wii U eShop version. I don't know.
That's another thing. I'm so surprised how these games get so valuable when they're readily available. Like they're still in. Like you could still play the original Legend of Zelda on the Switch.
Yeah. I don't know, and I've seen in the wild boxed copies of it that like are only like $50, $100. I mean, obviously they're not sealed and everything, but so I don't know. I just don't understand. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Just so expensive. This is just like this is not how I collect games. So it's just like it's hard to like relate to like somebody who would spend $1.5 billion on a game that's not very good. Shots fired on Super Mario 64.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're buying this, you're not buying it to enjoy it, playing it, just to have it and say you have it.
I know, it's like a flex move. It's like buying an OLED Switch. I'm just doing it to flex.
Yeah, it is a flex. Can you imagine like say you have this in your collection and you pass away, and then you have to put it, like you put it in your will, and you're like kids, like you're like, oh I give my son this sealed copy of Mario 64, and then kid sees that it's worth 1.5 million or whatever it's gonna be worth years from now.
But aren't like these older physical games, like they're gonna degrade over time, right? Like
eventually
that, like, doesn't even work.
Yeah, eventually they just won't work, just because of like science.
But you're not going to take them out of. Like, this is staying in its sealed water.
Yeah, I know. It's just funny to like think about.
Yeah, but is that thing like so vacuum sealed that like no air or moisture will ever penetrate it?
I don't know.
And then when they do open it up, will it like instantly,
Well,
like in a science fiction movie, like melt?
Doesn't The Legend of Zelda have like a battery in it so you can save and stuff?
Yes.
Do you think battery acid is gonna take it out?
Well, you never know because you haven't opened it. It's like Schrodinger's cat.
I saw a video, and it was about shoes, like Air Jordans or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't wear them, the I don't know what it's called, but like the bottom of the shoe just disintegrates if you touch it.
What? If you don't wear them?
Yeah, if you don't wear them.
That sounds odd.
So that's why it's always weird to me when people are paying thousands and thousands of dollars for these shoes to put on display, and then they're just gonna go bad anyway.
I didn't realize that shoes were perishable.
Neither did I until I saw that video.
That's so weird.
It looked like cake. Like the person was touching it, and it looked like they were moving around cake.
Yummy. So I don't know. I think I'm starting to come around actually, based on the kind of some of the stuff that you guys are saying about, like if you're buying it or like throwing this kind of money around, like you're not buying it to play it, and there are other ways to play the game. So I don't know. I think if you have $1.5 million to spend on a 64 game, that you could probably have like 100 copies of Mario 64 to play. So I think that there is merit to it. I think that I've read enough articles to where I'm like not sure that I like the WADA grading scale. I feel like it's like not foolproof, but I mean perhaps it's gotten better over time. And I don't have any like, oh, here's the article I read. I can't on the podcast can't like bring out any actual information, so I'm not really gonna go down that road too hard. But let's just say I've heard things about it, and I wasn't a fan. Do you guys want to say anything else about like grading systems at all for video games?
I mean, I don't know. The only experience that I've had with it is the Pokemon cards,
Mm-hmm.
and if this is any indication, so when Pokemon got popular again, well, the Pokemon cards got popular again because of certain videos.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people. There was such an influx of people trying to grade their cards that
Mm-hmm.
the PSA, which is one of the companies, they shut down like accepting new submissions for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if there's going to be an influx of people trying to grade games. Like I think I saw Skyrim even sold for like $600 recently.
Why?
With one of these grades.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I have a couple of sealed games. Like, it's cool. I just don't know if I'd go through the effort because I know they're not. It's not like it's not worth hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It's like maybe max like $100, something like that. Like it's doubled in value, $120 since I bought it. So it's like hard for me to like, I don't know, get behind it because I'm not.
Yes.
Not like it's not for me.
So they bought a Xbox 360 copy for $600.
Sweet. It doesn't even have any 4K textures in it.
No, it's that one's odd to me. That's odd.
Speaking of buying things, is there any game or system that you would personally pay top dollar for? Maybe not a milli, but like a significant amount of cash. Like, what would you open your wallet for? It's like what's like the prime gem that you would want in your collection?
Maybe a Game Boy Micro.
Ooh.
Just because I never had one, and like they'd be pretty cool to see. They weren't around for that long.
Yeah, it was like a limited thing. What do you think, Cooltrainer?
I mean, I hear it's bad, but it might be cool to like own a Virtual Boy. Those are like,
yeah, that was one of the things that I was thinking about. Virtual
Just
Boy.
Put it on display somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looks cool. Like
I really don't know why. Like the 3DS would have been like perfect to put some of those old games on there.
Mm-hmm.
Why they didn't do that? They just
Yeah,
want to forget it.
makes no sense. Yeah, I think they do just want to bury it. I think there's like a couple of things that I would want. I think like a box copy of Super. Like I wouldn't. I think like it would fall into like these prices, like a box copy of Super Mario 3 for the NES, with that like awesome like yellow, or like the famed Left Bros. You guys are you familiar with Left Bros and Right Bros? So for Super Mario Brothers 3, there's two versions of the box. There's the first run and then everything else. And in the first run, they wrote Super Mario Bros. And Bros was on the left-hand side of the box. And if you get a Left Bros, that's worth like way more money than the Right Bros, because the Right Bros, they like made 1 million more copies of that. So I think if one just fell in my lap, I would want like a Left Bros Super Mario 3, because that's like one of my favorite games of all time. It's like a weird collectible. But the thing is, it's just so much money. So I don't think.
I see, okay, I see exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, did you Google
That's
it?
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I Googled it. And the first thing that popped up is an eBay listing for a graded version
Of Left Bros.
Left Bros.
How much?
It's an 8.0. How much do you think?
100K. 100K.
No, you're not even close.
Like too high?
You're way too high.
50K.
Nah, it's 3,500.
Oh, $3,500?
Yeah.
So you're telling me?
There you go. Yeah, easy.
So like we're kind of talking like things I would like maybe consider if I made 3 times as much money.
That's it. I mean, I'm assuming it's only an 8.0, so I wonder if you find a 9.8 or 9.6, whatever.
That's when you get into like the hundreds of thousands or something.
Yeah. Because if
that makes sense.
I keep going back to the Pokemon cards, but like if you go like a 10 is like 10 times as valuable as like an 8.5 or a 9.
It's like kind of like exponential.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's my answer. I have other things that I would say, but I always say 3 answers instead of just one, so I'm gonna say 1 answer today. I'm gonna go against what I normally do. A Left Bros Super Mario 3. That's what I want. Sweet.
I never knew that. I learned something today.
There you go. You learned something on the Game Back podcast. All right, you guys want to talk about the game that was and then wasn't? Yeah. All right, let's move on from games that cost a lot of money to games that are costing the developer a lot of money after the fact. Cyberpunk 2077 is listed on the PlayStation Network again after being taken down because people were just getting refunds for it en masse. But now it's topping the charts. It's like the #1 selling game on the PSN. And there has not been... They've made stability patches for it, but like not enough to where people are like, yeah, this is like good. People are still complaining about the stability of the game and how the systems are just in general broken, and it's like overpromised, underdelivered, like No Man's Sky style, and they haven't like patched, like created. So like the No Man's Sky right now, just to like as a comparison, like it's been out for, I don't know, 5 years now at this point or something crazy, but like they have literally delivered and then some on all those promises, and they fixed all the systems and made the world so much cooler. Like that needs to happen to Cyberpunk, where they need to just keep pumping out these like free updates forever to make the game good, but they haven't done any of that. They just made it.
I don't think they're going to.
Probably not.
I would not be surprised if there's a Witcher 4 coming out soon.
I would.
Because
I think that it's been like said that there isn't one in like the works.
But they just had a whole
WitcherCon?
Con. Yeah, they just had a whole con. So
do they always do the WitcherCon?
No, this is the first one. And I think with the hype of the Netflix show, like I could see them working on a Witcher 4 and then just letting Cyberpunk lie,
Maybe. Yeah, it'll be like the black sheep of the CD Projekt Red. They'll just like never talk about it. They're like, oh yeah, didn't you guys make like a weird like futuristic game? Like, no, we only make Witcher games. So yeah, I just don't understand why people are buying it now, even though it's still not up to what I would consider the standard that is needed to, spend full price on a game. Like, why do you think people are buying it?
People probably want to see like why there was such controversy, and also I think PlayStation. I don't know if PlayStation said this or their blog. They recommended you don't buy it.
Yeah, it's a
if you
warning
only
on
have a PS4.
the page where you buy it. It says like recommended not for base PS4 play.
Oh.
Ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
That's cool. I like that.
Here, take my $60.
New 3DS owners only. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I had more to say about this, but now as I'm staring at the page and I'm looking at Cyberpunk 2077, I feel like I've said so much about this game, and I've played it, and I've just not been happy. I said this off stream, but I recently booted it back up on PC to be like, all right, like how there's been a couple of patches, like let's start a new character. Let's just start from scratch. And it was just like so lame, and like just so many immersion breaking things were happening. And I'm like, is this not supposed to be like it's like one of the reasons it's first person is to make it more immersive. And I'm like sitting next to this guy, he's eating a cheeseburger. I was telling the guys this story. I was like, he's eating a cheeseburger, but it's just like a 3D model of a half-eaten cheeseburger, and he just slaps it against his face. And he's just doing this. And it's just like a repeated motion over and over. And I could just literally...
It's not even like the burger's not like being like...
No, the burger's not being eaten. The guy is going like this. But the burger just goes like this and pushes into the face model. And like, it's just like... This is like one of the first things you see if you choose to be...
Maybe it is. That's how burgers are in the future. You can eat as long as you want.
They're holograms.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's possible. Yeah, I guess this is my fault, actually, and not their fault.
No, but... I mean, I think your criticisms are valid. I know there was a lot of people that were not happy with how that game turned out. Because they made all these promises about it being truly next gen, and it's really just another open world RPG. Like,
yeah,
it's just crazy that game was like in development before like the last gen came out, and they like were pushing it all this time as a next gen game, and it like came from the current gen or whatever, last gen, whatever we're calling it now.
Yeah, but I think one of the story is that they made a trailer for the game, and then there was no game. It was just a movie. And then they're like, cool, let's make a game like where we based on this movie. And I
guess, yeah, like they teased it like way before they even like started developing it.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like they put the cart before the horse, and it's just, they've just been playing catch up ever since. And they can either, which is what I kind of hope they do, is they like actually do like follow through with like fixing the game, but I don't know. Some quotes I'm hearing from that guy, I forget the guy's name, who's like the head of the company. He just kind of seems like shysty a little bit. So like, I don't know. I think they'll probably just want to sweep it under the rug and move on.
I think they said the next gen upgrades weren't coming until like end of this year. I think they were working on fixing
the current
the
stuff,
current bugs, and then they were gonna go with go into the next gen. But I guess I don't know. They haven't really said anything since then, and we're mid-July now.
Yeah, I wonder if they've updated that calendar. Remember we showed the calendar on the show like a long time ago about like what they were planning on doing. So I wonder if that's updated over time. That would have been a really good thing to have looked up beforehand.
Nah. Wing it.
Just wing it, man. It's the Switch Spot podcast, man. We just wing it. YOLO throwback. I I don't know, man. I hate Cyberpunk 2077. You want to talk about something else?
Yeah.
Oh man. Cool. So the last thing we're going to talk about today before we wrap up the show are all of these next gen upgrades. Also, speaking of CD Projekt Red, it's the first thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about these next gen upgrades and how confusing their pricing structures are, and we just don't understand like why it's not consistent. I guess it's not consistent because it's all by different developers and they have their own reasons for doing things.
Even there. Well, I guess developers, but the publisher is the same.
Yeah. So let's get into it. The first next gen upgrade that we're going to talk about is called the Witcher 3 next gen update, coming with Netflix DLC. So I kind of did some digging, and the Netflix DLC is extra items based on the show. So it's probably just going to be some what's Superman's name?
Henry Cavill.
Yeah. Henry Cavill, like clothes or like an alternate skin or something.
Yeah.
But in my objective, this is my opinion, I think that the Yennefer that they describe in the novels and that they portray in the video games I think those two things are more like accurate to each other. I think it's like more like what he was talking about when he wrote the books. And I think the Yennefer in the show doesn't look like the one in my mind's eye or the one from the video game. So I kind of am just like, well, who cares if they put that Yennefer in the game? Like, that doesn't interest me at all. But I think that's the most politically correct way to say that. I like the.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I like that. I like the show Yennefer. I mean, I didn't read the books. I didn't, and honestly, I haven't played the games that much. But she was like, I don't know, she's just different looking.
She was different looking.
So, yeah, it'll probably be like the armor that's in the Netflix show is probably going to be, there'll be a likeness in the game.
I want the song, and if we sing it, we'll get copyright claimed.
Toss a coin to your witch.
Ah, John, we can't monetize this now. Like we could ever.
Yeah. I just got a Witcher T-shirt.
Oh, you did?
Has that? Yeah, that has that toss your coin to the Witcher.
Nice.
We don't know much about this next gen update, right? Other than this DLC.
Yeah, it's probably. Yeah, they didn't even say like what it was, like if it was gonna be 4K 60, which I imagine it has to be, because like isn't the other one already? When you play on PC, you can play at like 4K 60, so it's probably just improved textures and all that kind of stuff, fun stuff. But I don't know. This is the one that didn't have a price. All the other ones had prices. So
I don't think it's a date either. Right?
Yeah, this one's free. This one's free.
This is free, but if you want to buy it on PS5, like how much is that going to cost? The game's been out so long.
You can get this game for like $10
not on
at any given time.
Not on Switch, you can't.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's
you gotta
interesting.
pay the Switch tax.
For how old this game is, that they're not charging.
Yeah.
I think they want to save face. Like Witcher 3 is like their.
It's their
greatest accomplishment or whatever. Like it's their. And they want people to forget about Cyberpunk. So
I only see, for release date, it just says Q3, Q4 this year.
It'll probably release alongside the
show.
Second season of this show, which is December.
Keep people hyped again. Oh, there's also going to be like an anime, a Netflix anime, right?
Yeah, I think it's a movie.
Which is weird because they keep calling. I'm not like an anime fanboy, but if it's made in America, it's not an anime.
I think it has to do with the style of animation, right?
Yeah, but it's a cartoon, and anime is a Japanese cartoon.
we tried to watch the Resident Evil show that just came out.
Oh, there's Resident Evil
Netflix.
one?
Yeah, it just came out like last week, I think. And I don't know, it's so hard for me to get into animated things like that. Like it just seemed off. It just seemed off.
It's so hard for me to like stuff that's bad. You know? It's really hard for me to like just kind of put my brain into a blender and enjoy something. Yeah, no, I feel that. Like sometimes like I really want to like something and I'm just like, this is not good.
Yeah, maybe it just isn't good. Maybe there are animes out there that I would enjoy. Because when I was growing up, I would watch, Dragon Ball Z and like Full Metal Alchemist.
My favorite one currently is One Punch Man. I love that one so much.
That only has like one season, doesn't it?
It has two. But it's
about the
I was just gonna say it's hilarious. Please go.
The Pokemon anime on Netflix or like whatever the newest season is. Like I always try to watch it and I'm really like, I want to like this, but this isn't good.
Yeah. So I don't think it's made for us.
Yeah, it's definitely not made for. Well, maybe it is made for us.
The Pokemon anime?
It's just it's like everything is so random now. Like I don't even know. Like the narrative is just like all over the place.
He's got to be the best.
I would love.
He just like randomly, like there's no gyms. He just like randomly fights people to like fight in this like Crown Cup or something. I forget what it's called. But like people just like randomly pop up and fight him, and his like ranking goes up. And I'm like, okay.
Isn't that what happens in the game where people just randomly fight him?
Yeah, but it's.
Hey, you looked at me funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but those aren't like gym leaders. Those don't progress your.
The gym leaders randomly. Well, actually, the gym leaders don't. It's just all the people in the gym, right? You have to actually talk to a gym leader to make them fight.
Yeah, you actually have to fight the gym leader.
Brian says, I feel that I struggle to get back into the anime. I tried watching it once. I watched there was like a Hoopa movie or something like that, and I was like, this is horrible.
That's not one of the. That's probably one of the lower ones.
I just don't think they're for me. I think there's things that kind of like straddle the line of being like kids movie, family movie, and this one it was swaying more towards like kids than family, and I was just out. But I gave it a shot.
That's how I feel about the animated Star Wars stuff.
Oh, the Bad Batch is so bad.
Batch.
Bad Batch is not for adults.
I can't get into that, but I feel like we got off topic.
Yeah, we did. Thank you, John. John, you've been pretty good the last couple weeks about being like, hey, are we talking about next gen upgrades or are we talking about the Hoopa movie? Yeah, we can talk about next gen upgrades. So the other game, there's two more games we want to talk about. Ghost of Tsushima is really the one that made us want to talk about it the most because their pricing structure is insane. I'm just going to throw it over to you, John, because I think you're the most familiar with how the structure breakdown goes.
I don't know. It's super confusing.
Yeah.
All right. So the way it's going to work is it's called the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. If you have the PS4 version, you could upgrade to the PS5 version with no DLC for $10.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you had to have the director's cut to upgrade.
No, I think you could have the regular PS4 version.
No, are you talking about the $10 one? The
Yeah,
$10 is
the director's cut on
PS4. Yes, Cam's right. That's the $10 one.
Yeah, but I think I honestly don't know.
All right, well, I'm gonna take it back then.
I don't know. When I was reading it, I don't remember base to Ghost of Tsushima to the upgrade one. I think it's it has to include the director's cut.
See, this is why it's so confusing.
It is confusing.
We don't know what the heck's going on.
All right, so I'm gonna give it a shot. So if you want to buy Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut for PS5, you pay $70. If you want to buy Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut for we didn't list it. That's why it's confusing. There's a price missing from here. For PS4,
I
Probably
think it's
60.
automatic.
Now, if you
I'm
go
gonna
to a
list.
store, there is like literally. Oh, this is like that's a train wreck of a podcast right now. Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay,
There
it's
was like a
okay,
whole.
it's $60 if you want to buy it on PS4.
There we
Director's
go.
Cut.
Okay, and then the rest of our list should make sense.
Does the director's cut include the DLC, or does it not include the DLC?
Yes, it does include the
Yes.
DLC.
Okay.
And then if you want to
Okay, I
get
see.
the director's cut DLC for your base PS4 version of Ghost of Tsushima, it costs $20. If you want to get a PS5 upgrade and the Ghost of Tsushima director's cut DLC, it costs $30. So that's from a base PS4 game. You're upgrading to PS5 and getting the DLC, so that's $30. If you want to upgrade the PS4, the $60 game to the $70 game, it costs $10. So that makes it. All of these numbers logically make sense. They're just presented in such a backwards way that it just seems confusing. It just is so dumb. Why would you have 5 different prices for the same game?
I think they should cut out the $10 whatever. Like,
Yeah.
if you have the director's
Get the
cut,
upgrade.
because technically that version of the game, that's like a 2021 game.
Mm-hmm.
I think if the game came out after the new consoles come out, I feel like you should get a free upgrade. If we're just talking like there's no
Before?
content, it's just after, or maybe around even before.
This
too.
came out. I mean, this came out before the new consoles. It was
Yeah.
it was like the summer before.
No, I'm saying like let's say you bought the PS4 director's cut, you would have to have bought it this year,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you're gonna have to pay $10 just to get the PS5 version. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's already that's out after the consoles came out. I feel like they should waive that.
I
I just
agree.
find it's so confused. And the whole DLC part of it, like the DLCs, they should have just charged $20 and you get the DLC.
Yeah. Make it like one flat price.
Yeah,
Or give it to you for free.
yeah, like a certain company.
Yeah, let's get into that in 1 second. I want to talk about Death Stranding really fast. So Death Stranding has a $10 upgrade to get their director's cut. So there's that.
But the base, well, okay, if you're buying it on PS5, it's not 70, it's just 60.
To get
That's-
Death Stranding
at least
director's
good.
cut is $60.
Yeah, on PS5.
But if you already own it on PS4, then it's $10 to upgrade? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So the theme is if you own games on PS4, then you have to pay to upgrade for the most part to the PS5 version. There are games that I feel like gave it to you for free. Like I think Miles Morales is free.
Yeah, that was free.
Yeah, Miles Morales was free. What? Was it?
Yeah, it was. The 2018 game wasn't, but
Yeah,
Miles
though
Morales
you had to buy the Spider-Man remaster, like that other one.
see, I feel like that's justified. Like that game came out like 2 years before the
Right.
consoles came out, so pay an upgrade.
But then they had next gen upgrades for like God of War.
Mhm.
That was free.
Yep.
Did they come out with a Last of Us patch too?
Yes.
Not Last of Us 2 yet, right? Did they?
I don't know. I thought Last of Us 2 got a patch, but I mean I might be wrong.
Oh
on that.
yeah.
I think it did too. Last of Us 2 PS5 patch. This is just us Googling things. Hey guys, come on down to our podcast where we just Google things for you. Yeah, it's patched. There's like videos of it comparing things. I gotta beat that game.
And then like, it's such a mixed bag. I think a lot of the EA games you have to pay extra. You have to pay like $10 extra to get the next gen version.
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
obnoxious. Or they sell you FIFA 22 on PC. That is the previous console version. They're doing like They're doing on
They're doing the
PC.
Switch
now-
thing.
right?
Yeah, they're like doing the Switch thing again, but now they're doing it on PC where they don't have to. Like they do it on Switch because of hardware limitations. Now they're doing it on PC. I'm like, why are you doing this on PC? There's a hardware limitation on a PC. Give me a break. It's insane.
They probably don't sell as much on PC, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think FIFA's like a console thing. I think it's like people who have consoles really like sports games. I don't really see a lot of people like sitting at their like mega rig playing Madden. But maybe they do. I don't know.
So I mean, I have an Xbox, and all of those games. I mean, they're older games now, like the Master Chief Collection, Gears of War, like Forza. They all got patched, and they all got free patches. That you didn't have to pay to upgrade.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder, I think Halo Infinite is gonna be $60 across the board if you don't have Game Pass. It doesn't matter if you have a Series X or an Xbox One. So I wonder if moving forward, if when they release games, if they're gonna be like $10 different.
You're saying when they like stop supporting the original Xbox One?
No, I mean if because all the original Xboxes are supposedly supposed to run like new games. Like I wonder if they're gonna have an Xbox One version for $60 and an Xbox Series X version for $70. Kind of like how Sony is doing it.
Series S 60, Series X 70.
No, Xbox One, like Xbox One X. 60. Because also, I don't know. I guess when Horizon Forbidden West comes out, I wonder if the PS4 version is going to be cheaper than the PS5 version.
Yeah, probably 60, 70.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I think that's just like that's the distinction. Last gen was 60 and current gen is 70.
It's just it hurts me. It hurts me a little when I have Game Pass and I'm paying $70 for
Yeah, I just think smart delivery is the smart way to go. I think that for PlayStation to not adopt it, like what do they make? Like, I mean, they're making pennies to like ding you for $10 here and there. Like, I'm sure that does add up over time when you're just doing it to everyone. But like, it's such a hassle to consumers to like try to figure out which version to buy. Like, especially if you're not the gamer and you're like the parent or the grandparent or like the aunt or uncle or whatever, and you're like, well, I know they like PlayStation. I don't know which one they have. Like, dude, with the Xbox, you're like, I know my like granddaughter has an Xbox, so I'm buying her this Xbox game, and you give it to her, she puts it in, and it works, and it goes to whatever system she's playing. And with PlayStation, it is such a cluster. It is so unconsumer, like anti-consumer, so non-consumer
I think it has to
friendly.
do because they're the market leaders right now, right? Like they can do it because they can. We all play Nintendo games, and we rebuy games from Nintendo.
Dude,
Times.
I bought my Switch upgrade for Mario Kart 8 for $60.
Exactly, and we're this Friday coming up, we're gonna be paying another $60 for
That's
previously
different.
released games.
That's different.
That's a 10-year-old game.
That's a 10-year-old remaster.
It's not a remaster though. It's just like it's an upgrade. It's a
remaster.
If you
A
look at
remaster.
the upgrade list, you get slightly you get upgraded
There's more that they're
resolution.
letting on.
It's not a port.
Different video
The
Twitter videos, that stuff that wasn't in the trailer.
The distinction you have to make is it a port, full stop, or is it a remaster? Is it a straight port? And if the answer is no, then it's a remaster.
But it's the
No, there's no buts. Answer my question. Answer my
higher resolution, better frame rate. That is what these upgrades are. Higher resolution, better frame rate.
Better frame rate, free camera control, quality of life things like the information.
I mean, a lot of these upgrades do quality of life stuff. I don't
get this distinction between upgrade and remaster. Aren't those like the same thing?
It's like it's like a total overhaul. Where I feel like with God of War, it's like they unlocked the frame rate and like threw some extra like better textures in there. Like, I feel like that's just different. I feel like that's like flipping two switches, where with doing a remaster on Skyward Sword, you like have to do a lot more work because it's like a ground up rebuild. Well, it's not a ground up rebuild because that would be a remake, but
I don't know, like all the Wii U ports, like we got minimal updates, and they charged us $60.
I wouldn't call this the same as like a Wii U port. They had to like rework how the game works with like buttons and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It's not the same.
I just say, I don't know, it's hard to call out Sony for charging us $10 when we're paying $60 to buy Mario Kart 8 again.
Just don't. Just
no,
don't,
I know.
just don't do it.
The experience.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, long story short, the PlayStation way of doing things is confusing. At least Nintendo is straightforward about it. They're like, it's $60 if you want this game again. It's not like a download, an upgrade. Like, it's none of that. It's, you bought this on a different system. That game doesn't work anymore, so now buy the game that works on the system that you have. So I feel like that just makes more sense. It's like it's not a great business practice, but
the one that's confusing is the Ghost thing, just because there's like 6 different, like Death Stranding kind of makes sense. You pay $10 to get the PS5 version,
right?
But the Ghost thing is just, I don't know. I'm confused on
it's
what
just
you get with which version.
Yeah. Just think in general, just because it's not smart delivery, it's going to be confusing to people. Like
and even games do this on Xbox too. I mean, like the third-party stuff, like Activision does it, and EA does it. Like I said, so Sony's not the only one doing it. It's just it's confusing on their end.
Chop.
I guess I just see it as like Xbox is doing, like, it's nice that they're doing this, but like this is how PlayStation's like always done it, and now that Xbox doing something nice, everyone expects everybody expects everyone to do the same thing as Xbox now.
Well, if they found a new way to do it, then they could try to like trailblaze. If everybody likes it, like, why wouldn't they do the new thing that like people prefer? Like, I don't know.
They'll do, like, if it starts becoming, an issue where they're losing, like they're losing market share, they'll probably change. But right now they're on top. They don't have to change anything. People are gonna buy this no matter what.
John, I don't understand, why doesn't this multi-million-dollar company just do what I want? Why don't they like try to cater to my needs?
They're supposed to be my friend. They're supposed to be my friends.
Dude, what was that tweet? It was just like, why are these why are they making choices like they're a multi-million-dollar like, it was a serious question. Like, why are like, you just care about the business, you care about the bottom line?
Oh, it was a comment on like the Switch OLED or something.
Yeah, I'm like, I was like, because they're
a multi-billion-dollar. I'm sure they care about Joe Schmo's tweet about how
they were like, why do you care about,
OLED's a ripoff.
It was like like you care more about profits.
Yeah,
I don't know, making like a better experience on Switch.
It's like,
but like Phil said, like, just don't buy it. Like, if you don't approve of the practice, you don't want to support that practice, just don't buy it.
Simple. Play something in your backlog. I know you have. I know you've got a game that you aren't playing.
Or if you have it on PlayStation 4, just play the PlayStation 4 version.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same. You're not going to remember the differences between the PS5 and the PS4 upgrade. Your brain is just going to eventually just going to forget all your memories, and then you're going to shrivel up and die, and
most people they don't even have like a TV or a monitor to support these upgrades. Like, most people don't have a 120, 140 hertz monitor to run these.
I know
120 FPS games. So like, what does it matter? Like, it's just like yelling into a void.
Yeah. All right. That's kind of all I have to say about this. I feel like post E3 is just like slow news, but we found some stuff to talk about. I thought the WADA grading thing is like kind of interesting. It's like a little bit weird to like seal up a video game to never play again, but I guess you can play the games in different ways. And next gen upgrades are confusing, and Cyberpunk 2077 still sucks. So, final thoughts, guys. You have anything that you wanted to add?
I've been playing Monster Hunter Stories too.
Yeah, and
but it makes me really want a Switch Pro because it runs at like sub 20 in docked.
That's so weird that the docked version
handheld mode.
Yeah, that's so weird. What are you currently playing, Camilo?
I'm going through Final Fantasy VII Remake on hard mode. That's been really fun.
Nice.
I just beat the Hell House, and wow, that was hard.
Wow.
It sounds sounds intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just super,
it's an aggressive name for something.
It's like really, really tanky, and it has like so much like shield and yeah, I was getting kind of mad, but I beat it.
Nice. I am playing stuff. I don't know. I'm all over the place. Trying to finish Samus Returns because I never did it, and stuff on PC. Something on PC. Oh, I bought the Marvel Avengers game that we talked about.
Yeah.
So
Have you played it?
Yeah, I've played it quite a bit actually, and I think it's fine. Like people are like losing their minds about how terrible it is, and I'm just like, dude, did you ever play the LGN games on the NES or the SNES? Do you remember how bad superhero games used to be? It's like just because we made Spider-Man and the Batman games, like everyone's like, no, every superhero game needs to be a 10 out of 10 experience. I'm like, no, superheroes are weird and they don't actually make sense if you ever try to like take them off of the comic page and like put them into something real and grounded, because it just doesn't make sense. Like the Hulk gets like shot by a laser and falls over. I'm like, that would never happen in the comic book, but like it has to work because that's how the game system is built. But
I think the issue a lot of people had with that game is like when it came out, it only had one story, so it had the main story, and then there was like no post game content. So,
I mean, there's tons of content for me still. Like there's 3 main campaigns. I'm only 5 hours into the first one, maybe.
And Black Panther's coming out for free.
Yeah.
Speaking of expansions for free, how's coming out?
Free expansions. I don't know. I'm excited to play it. I like it. It's cool. It is weird, like uncanny valley of people like kind of doing half impressions of like Robert Downey Jr. and stuff, and I'm like, guys, you should have gone your own way and not done this weird middle ground.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about the Guardians game, because it kind of looks like they're doing that again.
Yep. Rocket Raccoon is British, and they've just erased that from history.
But I saw Black Widow last week.
Oh yeah.
And I re-downloaded the Avengers game. I haven't
Nice.
put it back up since then, but I did re-download it.
Very cool. All right, well that's what we've been playing, and that's what we're talking about, and that's the news. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget that you can watch live every week. Kind of depends when we can do it. Monday or Tuesday, usually YouTube on YouTube. You can listen to the entire podcast on your audio platform of choice, and remember to subscribe to never miss an episode. Follow our Twitter and our Instagram. Both are at the GamePackYT. Thanks again. Take care, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.